Hello everyone and welcome to the Formula E Pit Lane Preview Show. Now, as you can see in the background, we are coming to you from a very iconic city today. We are here in Berlin, outside of the Brandenburg Gate. We've got the fans around us, we've got the Gen 2 car here, it's amazing, and we are beyond excited to be racing here this weekend.
Absolutely, because Berlin is a circuit that never disappoints on the Formula E calendar. In fact, I've got a little fun fact for you.
Oh, go on.
Did you know that as a city, Berlin is the only city to host a race in every single season of the championship?
Love it. Guys, don't we just love Saunders fun facts? Well, we'll be seeing more of Berlin in today's show, and we're also going to be hearing from the grid.
We will. We're talking to Lucas di Grassi. You asked him some questions on social media and he'll be answering them later on in the show.
But first, we thought we'd kick off today's show by hearing the none other than Saunders with his preview of everything you need to hear ahead of the Shell Recharge Berlin E-Prix.
Berlin is always an exciting race in Formula E. Drama is pretty much guaranteed, and you only have to look as far back as last season to have that point proven, where 3 championship contenders were all taken out of contention in the final race of the season. But what does that mean ahead of this weekend's doubleheader? Who are the teams and drivers to watch? Well, let's dive in and take a look.
Well done, mate.
Yes, boys. This is the one! We just won Monaco!
Stoffel Vandoorne arrives in Berlin off the back of an impressive win in Monaco and top of the driver's standings to a circuit of where he's made some very happy memories. This Tempelhof circuit was the venue that hosted his first win in Formula E in the final race of Season 6, so he knows what the top step of a podium feels like here. And on the other half of the Mercedes EQ garage, reigning champion Nyck de Vries had the better of Vandoorne throughout pretty much the most of last season, but the opposite has been the case so far in this campaign, with Vandoorne 42 points ahead in the standings. Now, will the return to the circuit where he won his championship bring with it the kick that Nyck de Vries needs for his season and championship retention hopes? Mitch Evans is on a great run of form, and this weekend is a chance to capitalise on that momentum and push towards his first title in Formula E. He's less than 10 points behind current leader Vandoorne, and he'll be keen to clear his mind of the moment his chances of championship glory were brutally taken away at the race start of the final race here last season.
So if you look back historically at the previous races here in Berlin, you'll see a few trends that start to appear.
The first comes with Lucas di Grassi, who's won here twice before and has been on the podium a further 5 times. Looking across all of the seasons we've raced here, di Grassi is by and large the most consistent driver. All of his previous success was with his old Audi team, but that doesn't necessarily mean we won't see more podiums from the Brazilian this weekend. And here's why. Di Grassi's current team, Rocket Venturi Racing, secured back-to-back podiums on our last visit here. Mortara's second place finish in the penultimate race of the season, and Norman Natto's glorious win in the final race. So if anything, di Grassi's chances of replicating previous success here is even greater with Rocket Venturi Racing and the same setup that brought them a fantastic end to their season. Berlin has been a happy hunting ground for the black and gold DS2 cheaters. Both drivers have won here. Jean-Eric Vergne goes into the weekend as the only driver to score points in every race so far this season, and Da Costa could quite easily be called the King of Berlin. Back-to-back wins here in Season 6 to win his championship title. The Portuguese driver is very handy around this circuit and has since proved he still has that pace after making up 5 positions to score double-digit points last time out in Monaco.
It's a home race for both the Mercedes EQ and Tag Heuer Porsche Formula E teams, both with race wins so far this season, and there's an extra incentive this weekend to win on home soil. Perhaps even more so for Tag Heuer Porsche with their all-German driver lineup. We'll see 2 configurations of this Tempelhof circuit used this weekend. Saturday's race will take place on the usual 10-turn, 2.35 kilometre long circuit, whereas Sunday we'll see a reverse layout for the second race of the weekend.
Excellent analysis as always, Saunders. There really are so many possible contenders for this weekend.
Yeah, it's a bit of an easy one, Berlin, because we've had 14 races here. So there's all sorts of different success stories that have come through the ages, but yeah, now it all leads into who does well this weekend.
Well, 2 drivers who are massive contenders for this weekend are Mercedes EQ's Stoffel Vandoorne and Nyck de Vries, and we caught up with them earlier on today.
Right, Fons, we're back in Berlin.
Yes.
Where it all started.
Well, ended.
Ended, but also started.
Yeah.
We scored our first 1-2 back in 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously, we completed the championship here last year. So we've had some good memories here.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a particular race here. A bit of a hit and miss sometimes with this special tarmac and getting the car in the window. But I think historically we've been going well here. We've got some good memories. Like you said, first 1-2 for me, first victory. For you, the championship here. So yeah, let's try and keep those records going, or those statistics going.
And already around 7 and 8. So suddenly the championship is progressing quickly. It's very competitive. You're leading now.
Yeah, midway of the season. I mean,
Is it midway exactly?
I think after this weekend we'll be.
This weekend
we'll be midway. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you know how Formula E is. It's so dynamic. So many things change all the time. Let's try and lead at the end.
That's when it matters and counts.
I think the qualifying format has been pretty stable now. You know, we all know it's important to get through the group stage, which is the most difficult part probably of the weekend, to get that top 4 in the group.
Well, it's also normal because in the duels you're fighting one car, and in the groups you're obviously fighting half of the grid. And I think for this weekend in particular, the group stages, the duels might be more difficult when you are in Group 2 with hot tires and given the different kind of tarmac or concrete.
I think every run is gonna be harder and harder, basically, if you manage to progress. Just with the tires, the management, and you know, it's hard on the rear tires here. So.
Which layout do you prefer? The classic one or the clockwise one?
I think I prefer the classic one, to be honest.
Me the opposite. I prefer the opposite.
I don't know why. I mean, I did better on the reverse one last year than I did on the classic one. But yeah, I mean, they're completely different in terms of approach. Like the braking for turn 1 in the opposite direction
it's tricky,
is
very tricky.
Like you're so laterally loaded, it's easy to lock the front tires. I don't know.
Then I like the faster section in like turn 3, 4, 5. I prefer that one on the other way around.
Yeah, no, makes sense. You know, we've been competitive here in the past, so I think that should be the aim for the weekend again, is to just maximize all the points available. And you know, we've been fairly consistent.
But really, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really rely on any.
No, and even the history doesn't mean anything, because we've had races where it's been very good, but we've also had some really bad ones here. So we just gotta do the job on the day, and then it should be all right.
And then bon chance, Fons.
Yeah, good luck. See you on track.
See ya.
Great to hear from them both. Saunders, it's really shaping up to be an excellent weekend, isn't it?
I think you could be right. I'm very excited. It's also just nice to be back in Berlin. I really love this city. You had the chance to have a little look around yesterday. Am I right in thinking there was a green theme aligned with it?
There was indeed. As you know, I love to find the green spaces in all the cities that we go to. And I have to say, Berlin did not disappoint. When we were in Monaco, I went to the Rose Garden behind the casino, and I thought that was up there. But seeing the Tempelhof Feld, Berlin's version of their Hyde Park, I think Berlin has definitely won.
Very nice. Well, thankfully for us, Darren doesn't go anywhere without a camera, so let's see how she got on.
Now, there's a reason why we race here year after year. This is one of Europe's most vibrant, modern, buzzing, and not to mention greener cities. So why don't we find out what exactly makes Berlin so green? Earlier today, we saw the all-electric Gen 2 Formula E car right here outside of the Brandenburg Gate. And since we first raced here in 2015, the EV scene is booming. Last year alone, we saw 355,000 electric cars being sold, and Germany doesn't plan to stop. By 2030, they hope to have 10 million electric vehicles on the road. The Formula E effect? I think so. And this uptake in EVs is amazing news for Berlin, because the city aims to be climate neutral by 2050. So if signs of things not slowing down anytime soon, this is promising news. Over a third of Berlin is made up of green spaces, such as this, the Tempelhof Feld, which, as you can probably hear by the name, is closely linked with the Tempelhof Airport, which is where we're racing this weekend. Now, what's incredible about this is that this is an old airfield that has now been converted into a public park, which we can see people enjoying their bike rides, their daily walks, and there's a community garden, which we're going to go and check out now. Can you believe that this is just a stone's throw away from where we're going to be racing this weekend? I mean, just take a look around us. We've got the greenery, we've got the fresh produce, recycled materials being used as well, which is pretty cool. And there's this massive community feel, given that it is open to the public. It is just incredible how close the track is and that we're going to be racing here this weekend. Formula E, Berlin, cannot wait.
Always really nice to see the sustainability journey that a city's going on. Berlin's got a lot to say about that. Now, we've got some news to announce. You might have already seen it, but if you haven't, you're in for a treat because some big things are happening next season. What are they?
Oh yeah, Abt Sportsline are returning to Formula E.
This is also great news. I mean, let's not forget, this is a team with lots of success in Formula E. They've got championship titles to their name, they've won loads of races, including quite a few here. It's going to be great to see them back on the Formula E grid.
And one final piece of news for you all. On the 2nd of July, Formula E is going to be returning back to Marrakesh.
Now, this is also great news. I really like going to Marrakesh. It's a very cool place to visit, Morocco, but also that circuit has delivered very, very good races in the past. So yeah, exciting to be going back.
Fantastic. Well, let's get back to Berlin perhaps, shall we?
Good idea. I'm confident that if you were to have a little wander around this entire paddock and talk to everybody, there'd be one person that'd be more excited than most to be back here racing. And that person is Lucas di Grassi, because he seems to not be able to get anything but a podium here. He loves racing it.
Yeah, well, with the recent Gen 3 launch, with his confidence in Berlin, we've put your fan questions towards him, so why don't we hear from the Rocket Venturi driver?
Hello everyone, I'm Lucas di Grassi, race driver for Rocket Venturi Racing, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Is there a specific feature of the Gen 3 car that you're looking forward to the most, or are you just excited for the whole package?
I'm really excited about the specs of Gen 3 and having much more power and four-wheel drive regen. I think is going to change a lot of the dynamics on the race.
What's your opinion on the fast charge of Gen 3 and how it will influence road cars?
Gen 3 has almost a 600 kilowatt charge. That's more than double the current availability, the public availability for superchargers. So if we manage to improve this technology, you'll be able to charge your car in only a few minutes.
How do you think the car will drive? What are the major differences?
The Gen 3 car will be a very specific car to drive because it will be the first Formula car with a differential in the front axle. And that changes a lot the dynamics of the braking. Plus, almost 100% of the braking will be done by regenerative braking, which does not use the calipers and brakes, pretty much only the motors in the front and the rear. But the car is smaller, lighter, less inertia, so it will be more agile and with much more power.
What's been your best moment in Berlin so far?
Berlin is one of my favorite tracks. I had 2 victories and I think 6 podiums here. And I would say the victory last year felt very, very good because it was like the goodbye from Audi, and it surely tasted special.
How different is it in reality to drive the track backwards on Sunday? Can you take knowledge from the race on Saturday or have to start from zero again?
Funny enough, racing on a reverse track, you cannot take any knowledge from one track to another apart from the tarmac and how it gripped or how the grip improved during the race. So of course we start in a higher grip level on the second day, but braking references, even setup of the car is different from day one.
What are your thoughts on the new generation FIA Formula E car, and where can you see the championship in 5 years?
So Nyck Cassidy is one of my biggest fans, and a big hello to him. And so the Gen 3 car, I think it looks amazing, especially from the rear end. And I hope it will push Formula E to a different level, the same way as we did from Gen 2 to Gen 1 to Gen 2. We expect the same kind of hype from Gen 2 to Gen 3.
What are you most excited about this race weekend?
Well, I'm really looking forward to race here in Berlin again with a different team, with the different targets, but of course we're going to try to win both races and we're going to give it all. Thank you very much for all your questions and looking forward for the race this weekend.
Great to hear from Lucas di Grassi there. Thank you very much for getting your questions in for him.
Yeah, fantastic one sent in, guys. But Saunders, it's now that time of the show where you know what's coming. I'm going to ask you for your predictions.
Yeah, of course. All right, I'm going to follow on a little bit from what we talked about earlier. Di Grassi, you can't really look too far past him because statistically he always does very well here. Da Costa as well, I still feel like that bounce back this season has to come soon, and we're better than a place where we've had so much success in the past.
It's brewing.
Yep, and I think the Mercedes guys as well, they look at those two, this was the place that they got their championship, both the teams and the drivers, so maybe we have returned to success here. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, we will find out this weekend for the Shell Recharge Berlin E-Prix. Remember guys, there is no turning back.
It's time for Berlin, the halfway stage.
Radio check.
We go green in Berlin! Jefferson's been hit!
That was close, man.
He's in attack mode!
Top four is emerging. Vandoorne, Jev, Evans and Vries. Who will leave as the main contender? Formula E is about to bring colour to the streets of the grey city. No turning back.